Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Excuse my cheeks if they're a little bit red. I've definitely not had enough water today. I've had enough, but I usually would have had, what have I had? I think 2.5 liters. No, 3 liters maybe. But I would have had it a bit more spread out earlier in the day. I've done a little bit of chasing up and my cheeks often get very red. It's that dehydration, my skin is very dry. So I've got a little bit of red cheeks. That is why, but I've got my electrolytes next to me and I'm playing catch up. But this kind of ties in with what I want to talk about today. And I don't anticipate a long episode because I just kind of want to touch on the subject and then I'm going to dive deeper into it over the next couple of weeks. But that is the fact that there is no point training at the gym, strength training, whatever kind of training you're doing, if you are not eating well. And now eating well can be you can take that so many ways. And what I mean by that, I have 2 ways I take it. So eating well in the sense of actually nourishing your body, making sure you're eating your protein, fruits, veggies, fiber, micronutrients, getting in your carbs for energy, getting in your fats for your hormones, all of that kind of thing. But then also eating well in the sense of making sure you're eating enough, right? And I think because, you're going to the gym, you're either, you're wanting to get stronger, build a toned body, you're wanting to get fitter, whatever your goal is going to the gym, you are wasting your time if you're not eating right. And I say that with so much love, but a lot of the goals that you have in the gym, they all come down to building muscle. And this is something that I talk about and I will talk about it until the bloody cows come home. If you're a client of mine, whether you're in person or online, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, I talk about building muscle like there is nothing else in the world, because every goal that you have, if you want to get stronger, you're going to be building muscle so you can carry more load. If you want to get a toned body, you're going to be building muscle because that's how you achieve that shape that you want. Even if you want to get fitter, you want to be putting your muscle under more endurance, under more load, and getting fitter and stronger and just feeling overall good in your body. It literally doesn't matter what your goal is. Building muscle is the foundation. It's that underlying thing. And what you need to build muscle is to eat well. So like I said, it either comes through eating, making sure you're having enough of your proteins, your fruits, your veggies, all the things, and not just eating shit every day. Or it's a sense of making sure you're actually eating enough in general, because I have been on both sides of this. I have been that girl that, let's take it back to before I even really go into my journey. When I started my health journey, I was going to the gym, and back then it was a group setting, but it was very circuit based, endurance, cardio, a little bit of weights, a little bit of things like that. And I didn't really think about nutrition at that point. I was definitely had changed my ways of trying to eat more veggies and stuff like that. But I didn't really know anything. And I was training, but I wasn't really eating. I hadn't had the knowledge. I hadn't had the education. I had never tracked my food. And this is something I'm going to tap into later. But I didn't really know what I was putting into my body. And looking back, I'm I definitely would have had no protein. I definitely, not no protein, but very minimal protein. I definitely, would not have been training too good. I definitely didn't like going to the gym. And I often find that if you don't like going to the gym, it's because you either feel like you're not progressing or you feel like you've got no energy, whatever the thing is. And it all comes back to what you're eating and how you're fueling your body. You hear it all the time, right? Think of your body like a car, right? You have to put in the fuel to keep it going. So it's that same thing. You have to eat and eat well and eat enough to keep your body going. So it's that thing. And then I've also done the thing of trying to go to the gym and trying to get fitter and healthier, but eating so little that I literally was not supporting my body. I definitely wasn't growing any muscle in that time. I was definitely feeling fatigued as fucking anything. I literally had no energy and it was a fucking drag to get there. And then I would have no energy all day. And it was hard and my body was not changing at all. And it's what I want to talk to today of like I said, you can go to the gym and you can smash yourself, but if you're not eating to support that, if also you're not recovering to support that, but more so the eating, if you're not eating to support that, it's literally pointless. You're literally just wasting away. Your muscle is not building and you're just going to struggle to get to that goal. I always talk about I'm nearly 8 years into my journey, and the last, I'm going to say 3 years is when I've seen the most change, and that is because the first 5 years I spent firstly not even tracking anything, but after that when I started learning how to track, I just spent my whole time in a deficit trying to lose weight. So my body, yeah, I lost the weight, but my body did not change, and I was unhappy and I wasn't confident, and I always thought if I lose the weight then I'll be confident, and I wasn't, because my body was actually not changing, and I actually had no energy and I felt like shit all the time. I had no confidence in myself and my ability to do literally anything. So that is on that. Then I kind of want to go into the tracking side of things as well. So if we talk to, tracking your food, if you feel like tracking your food is a trigger for you, respectfully, you've been doing it wrong. Tracking your food and using MyFitnessPal is such an incredible tool to actually educate you on how much is in certain foods, how much you should be eating, what you can eat to support your training, what you can eat to support your body, how much protein you're getting in, how much fruits, veggies, all the things. Like I said to you before, like pre-tracking, when I was just kind of putting my own meals together, looking back, I definitely would not have been having anywhere near enough protein. And I hear this all the time. Women are like, yeah, I eat enough protein, I eat protein. And then I get them to track their food for me. So this is specifically clients. I get them to track their food, just eating as they're normally eating, and it's nowhere near enough. They're like, oh my God, like you want me to have so much protein? I'm like, yeah, because I actually want you to build some muscle, and I want you to feel good in your body and feel really energized and refreshed and ready to go every single day. And, that's the thing with clients. I encourage tracking. Almost every single person will start tracking with me. There is like instances where they don't, but generally, like I have a client come to me. I have most clients come to me for nutrition only, and then we'll add on training after, because the nutrition is the fundamental part. You could be, like I said, you could, have amazing form, and you could, be training hard and like pushing PBs, but you're going to get to a point where it's like, it just feels fucking heavy and you feel like you can't go on. And generally you're not eating enough, or you're not eating before training to support your body. So even something I can talk to in that is this week. So I'm week 10 of my deficit. I think it's week 10, week 9 or 10. And all of a sudden, like this week, I'm fucking slaying the game, I'll tell you that much. I've trained 2 sessions so far. First session, I got 8 PBs, and the second one, I got like 11 PBs. Granted, I hadn't done one of those exercises, I think, in the new app I'm using. So it always says like you get like 3 PBs for that because there's 0 data to go off. But the point is, I got all these PBs, and I was like, I actually felt it in my training. I was like, I feel incredible. Like when I'm in the gym, I was like, I feel like I can go heavier, and then I looked at my data and I was like, how have I been stuck on the same weight? And like this week, I just feel like I can push more. And I'm like, it's because I will usually have a banana before training. When I'm in the deficit, I really try and I have to be more careful with my carbs and like where I'm going to have them. But carbs are your essential. That's what you want before you train. So I'd always just have a banana. But this week I was like, you know what? I'm not really feeling my sessions. So I added honey, and literally 10 grams of honey. Not even that much. And I'm like, it has made the world of fucking difference. Like I actually can't even tell you how good I have felt in my sessions. I have pushed the PBs so hard. I've got my last session tomorrow. I've been feeling so incredible. My body has responded so well to it. I am hydrated as much as I would usually be more hydrated by this point. It is currently 5:12 p.m. I would usually be more hydrated by this point, but I am so much more hydrated. I'm sleeping better this week as well. And my training, I can feel it. I feel on top of the world this week. And I have spent the last God knows how many weeks feeling like the gym is a drag. And I don't want to go every day. That's not the vibe. I don't love it every single day, despite being a personal trainer. But the ability of when you actually fuel your body, when you feed yourself, when you go, it's okay to eat food before I train, your sessions will be so much better. Your body will feel so much better. Your recovery will be so much better. And you're generally not going to hate the gym as much because A, you're feeling better, but B, you're seeing the progress that you want to be seeing. And progress can be in so many different forms, but you'll be in the gym and you'll feel it when you're in there, and you'll be like, oh my God, I just feel incredible. And it always comes down to how you're fueling your body. So even whether I have clients that come to me for one-to-one coaching or they do Balancing Her, which is my group program, like I said, I will always start them with tracking. And I always say, track what you're currently eating so then I can help you tweak from there. Because the last thing I want is to tell someone what to eat every single day. And if you're like me, I hate being told what to do. So if someone's telling me what to eat every single day, I actually just don't listen. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Sorry, I'm just going to wake up my laptop because it's about to go to sleep. So I'm like, I'm actually not doing that. I don't want to do that. So the best thing I always found for me, and I love to do this with my clients, again, case to case, it can be a bit different. Some clients have needed that extra help and I have needed to guide them with meals. But most clients, they start tracking what they're eating each week. When I look in their food diary, I look in my Fitness Pal, and I can see, okay, maybe they need to track something a bit differently. Maybe they're doing it wrong and therefore, it's saying they're eating more than they are. Maybe they're not eating enough protein. I can see, okay, they haven't had any fruit this week. Like, that's our focus for this week. So it's always about, like, you want to start track as you are, like what you're eating currently, and then you can dial it in from there. And again, 9 times out of 10, someone comes to me and says they're triggered by my Fitness Pal, I will have that conversation with them. We'll go back and forth in voice notes, or I'll jump on a call with them and I'm like, talk me through it. What have you done in the past? What does your dieting history look like? I want to know every little thing you can think of. And then 9 times out of 10, they've only ever tracked when they're either in a deficit, they're trying to lose weight, and it's just not been enough food. It has generally not been enough food. And this was me. This was that other point I was going to before. The last 3 years of me actually seeing these changes in my body has been, yes, I have been training hard. I've been training 2 to 3 sessions a week, never done more than 3 a week. There might be the most rogue off week, but what my coach programs for me is no more than 3 a week. I either do 2 or 3 sessions a week. Granted, when I'm PTing, I am lifting weights and stuff like that, but it's not the same thing. Never do more than that a week. But like my nutrition, I went from being someone who was constantly dieting, constantly in a deficit, constantly trying to lose more weight, constantly struggling, constantly binging, constantly feeling like I had absolutely zero energy, to someone who I spent, I think it must be more than 3 years. Because I spent a good 18 months at maintenance, like building up the calories, because I had spent years dieting. So I remember when I jumped on a call with my coach and she was like, oh, we're going to get you to 2,500 calories easy. That's easily your maintenance. And I remember I looked at her because my quote unquote maintenance back then had been 2,100, which was essentially my deficit now. I'm obviously a bit less than that, but my deficit. And I remember when she said that, I was like, in my head, I was like, that's a fucking dream. Like, to be able to eat that much food. Because I was just fucking fatigued. I was exhausted, not only from not eating enough, but from like the constant dieting and just feeling like this feels like shit. So we ate a lot of food. We built up my calories. We got me to that place where my maintenance now is like, I'd say I probably eat 2,600 to 2,700, which I never thought I could do. And like I said, I train 2 to 3 times a week. Currently 3 is my average, but I don't do a million sessions in the gym. I train my 3 sessions a week. I focus every week on progressive overload. I focus on like, where can I feel my body more? I focus on where can I recover better? Is it my sleep? Is it my water? Do I need to stretch more? I look at those things, and that is when I've seen the most shape, and that is how I'm currently the strongest I've ever been. So I really want you to think about that when you are training. If nutrition is something that you're like, I literally have no fucking idea what I'm doing, what to do, start tracking your food. The only thing I'll say is when you use my Fitness Pal, if you go on there, you put in your details, all is good and well, please do not select that you want to lose more than 500 grams a week. I would recommend select maintenance. Okay. If you've used my Fitness Pal, you'll know what I mean. After you put in your details, it says, what's your goal? Select maintenance, because my Fitness Pal gives you calories that are so much lower than what you should be eating, because it doesn't take into account other factors. It doesn't take into account your gym sessions, your daily steps, your lifestyle, your hobbies. It doesn't take anything like that into account. So highly recommend choosing maintenance and just learning how to track, right? Just literally scanning what you currently have, putting in your fruits, putting in your veggies, have a little play around, see how you go. If you need help, that is something that I teach my clients, whether it's one-to-one or in Balancing Her. Again, depending on where you're at in your journey, what you've done in the past, depends on the kind of level that I would suggest you move into. But Balancing Her is that lower touch point level for those people that are like, I don't need weekly accountability, but it's good we do a monthly check-in as opposed to weekly. It's good to have that, but it's also good to have the group chat so you can ask questions from the other girls as well. You obviously have me as your coach as well. So that is kind of that less accountability touch point. It's obviously a cheaper touch point because it's a way of like, I want to be able to help people without feeling like they have to commit to something so intense, but you can still learn how to fuel your body for your training, how to train well in the gym, how to increase your strength, things like that. So these are the things I really, really focus on. And I haven't had a client, she's 4 weeks into balancing her. So we did 4 weeks at a maintenance phase, and I literally said to her, because she asked me, what do I expect for my deficit next week? And, I sent some voice messages of what to expect, but I also said, can you just update your weight measurements photos? And then like at the 4 week mark. And she literally said to me this morning, she said, my weight hasn't moved, but I feel so good. I feel much more confident. I feel really capable. I'm feeling stronger. I'm feeling really good. And I said, that is perfect. I did not want your weight to move. Like, we're in maintenance for a reason. I wanted you to get used to tracking because, again, I was checking in with her, tweaking things in my fitness pal. This is how you should track this, track that, all that kind of thing. Suggestions of, smart swaps and like what kind of meals to have to suit her lifestyle. So helping her with all that. And then when we go into the deficit, she's already nailed the foundations. Like, she's a quick learner, this girl. She's nailed those foundations. She's gotten used to eating more food, eating breakfast. She's not like binging anymore. She's eating breakfast, eating enough food to fuel her day. She's got more energy. She's feeling really, really good, even through a busy season of her life. And that's what balancing her is for as well. It's literally like for my busy women that need a little bit of support, a little bit of accountability, that don't need the constant every week kind of check-ins and stuff. So anyway, she's going into a deficit next week, and she's literally already from 4 weeks, like, I feel so good. And now we're going to the deficit, and we get to make it even better. She gets to feel even better in herself. She gets to just focus more on the goal, lose some weight. We'll come out of the deficit by Christmas, and then next year we can go into another one. So that way we're coming out of the deficit by Christmas. We've had that tester. We're like, cool, this is what worked in the deficit. This is what went really well. You still feel supported with your training. You're still feeling strong. You're still feeling good. Now we come out. Christmas is fucking busy, guys. Like, Christmas, even if you say you don't do anything for Christmas, and I ask all my clients this, 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up doing stuff. There's work Christmas parties, there's friends Christmas parties, there's your family's Christmas, there's bloody just office treats in general. There's so many more outings. Like, it's summer if you're in Australia. It's summer as well. So it's like we go out more, we've got daylight savings, like we're having such a good time that I will generally never have anyone in a deficit in December. Like, I pull them out by then, and then they can enjoy Christmas, their work parties, social events, all the things. They can have all their fun and then go back into a deficit next year when we're ready. Like, once we've come back from the holiday period, we're back to work, back to real life, then we can look at a deficit again. If that's the goal, if that's where we're at. But it all starts from actually learning how to support yourself first, learning how to obviously train well, but support yourself with your eating for your training so you can, tone your body, lose weight, get stronger, whatever it is your goal is. If you can actually support yourself, then you won't hate the gym. You won't look at it as a place of this sucks and I feel shit. You'll look at it as a place of fuck, I feel good and I feel really strong and I feel incredible and I can't wait to be at the gym and get stronger and see what results I can get in 3, 6, 9, 12 months time. So it's all about having that perspective, and it all starts from nutrition. Like I said at the start, I genuinely think if you are training and you're not looking after yourself with your nutrition, it's pointless. It is absolutely pointless. And I just want to reiterate that. And like I said, I didn't want today to go into too much. I just kind of wanted you to start thinking about like that first point of what do I do first if I want to look at nutrition? Tracking. Track your food. Make sure you're having enough protein, carbs, fats. If you need help, send me a message. We can talk it through. It's what I do with my clients. But yeah, I'm going to leave this episode here. Next week, I'm going to dive more into the nutrition side of things. And then I think the week after, I'm going to go into more of the training side of things. So you can really pull yourself back, quote unquote, pull yourself back. So you can still have, a really good end of year without completely throwing in the towel. Like, I want you to be able to still train or move your body or whatever the thing is in a way that feels good and feels supported throughout the rest of this year. November. We're in November next. Oh my God, yes, the 29th of October today. We're in November from Saturday. That's crazy. So yeah, feeling really good for the last 2 months of the year. And then you go into 2026 and you're not feeling that shit of like, oh, it's a new year and this year I'm really going to lose weight and I really want to tone up and I really want to do blah, 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 blah. Okay, I want you to feel supported before you get there so you don't feel shit in January. Okay, and I will never tell you to not train as well. That's one more thing I want to touch on. I will never tell you to not prioritize strength training. I am very big on we strength train, but we also do movement we enjoy. Maybe it's Pilates, maybe it's running, maybe it's whatever the thing is, maybe it's swimming or tennis or whatever. We do movement that we enjoy, but it can start from your nutrition. So you can pull back your training, focus on your nutrition, and then bring that training back when the time's right, when you're ready. But I want you to really, really focus on nutrition first and then train. If not me, because I will never do it. If you have someone tell you that you can lose weight without training, you can lose weight without going to the gym, and you see these crazy results, they are doing you such a disservice, and you should be running. Okay? Because anyone can lose a lot of weight, and I touched on this in a recent episode. Anyone can lose a lot of weight without going to the gym, because you're losing a lot of weight because you're losing muscle. You're losing muscle, and yes, you can lose weight with walking and calorie deficit, but wouldn't you rather be gaining muscle, feeling stronger, feeling more confident, feeling fucking sexy, and eating more food and changing your body at the same time? If you see people losing crazy amounts of weight, like, I don't know, something off the top of my head, 10 kilos in like 8 weeks, it's so unhealthy. And I think you should really, really be aware of it. And if someone's telling you you can lose weight and you do not need to train ever, fucking run. Run for the fucking hills, because when you hit, I'm 28, so I'm going to use the example. When I hit like 40, 50, 60, whatever it is, I don't want to be a frail old lady. I want to be someone that can be as independent for as long as she can, because I've spent the time learning how to nourish my body, learning how to fuel it for my training, and learning how to train hard and train well. And that's exactly what I do with my clients. So anyone that tells you no, fucking run. I'm really passionate about that. Run far away for the hills. All right. I'm going to leave this podcast episode here because it was intended to be nice and short and sweet. But if there's anything that came from this episode, any questions you have, feel free to send me a message on Instagram. I love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed the episode, if there's anything, you want someone else to hear, feel free to send it to them or share to your story and tag me in it so I can see. But I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will speak to you in next week's episode. Bye.